Before the white sails ever touched the horizon, the Valley of Red Fenthyr was a sacred cradle of life, where the Okina people lived in harmony with the land for centuries. They spoke with the wind, danced with the rain, and saw every living creature as a relative, not a resource. Among them was a boy named Senu, born under the eclipse moon, whose spirit was said to be guided by the Thunderbirdie. As he grew, Senu listened closely to the stories carved into bark and whispered by elders beneath the singing trees. He learned the paths of elk, the songs of rivers, and the wisdom of silence. When iron axes began to bite into the heart of their forests, and Strong's men with pale eyes set up stakes in the soil, Senu felt a shift in the balance. His dreams became restless visions of smoke rising from the horizon and trees falling like old warriors. The council, fearing what was to come, sent Senu and a small group of scouts into the northern ridges to observe. What they saw haunted them: wagon trails, like open wounds across the hills, sacred stones shattered, and buffalo herds thinned by greed, not need. The elders held a gathering under the great pine, where fames danced and prayers rose like herds into the night. Senu stood and spoke, not with anger but sorrow, urging his people to remember the ways of unity and wisdom over vengeance. That winter, the cold came surly and hard, and with ill hunger, but instead of taking from the forest recklessly, the Okina turned to the old rivals, offering thanks with every hunt, giving back more than they look. When settlers pasted Siosir, Sena led quiet acts of resistance, gliding animals away from traps, planting healing herbs over scorched trails, and singing old songs to awaken the spirits of the land. One night, under a sky of restless stars, he found an injured settler child alone by a frozen stream. Rather than leave her, he wrapped her in his fur cloak and carried her to the border of her camp. The elders warned him of the dangers, but Senu believed that kindness was its own kind of shield. Word of the boy who spared a child reached both camps, and for a time, the forest grew quieter. Though conflict loomed always on the edge of the horizon, the Okina chose not to vanish in anger, but to endure in memory. Years passing. Senyusa came in older, then a legend, and finally a whisper in the wind. His story, etched into a single red feather found high in the mountains, reminded all who heard that resistance did not always roar. It could also be the steady bearing of a kind heart, the quiet refusal to hate, and the eternal promise to honor the land as a living soul.